Hey everyone, this is Ricky with Spoiler Force Podcast, courtesy of Popluck Podcast. You can find more episodes of Spoiler Force Podcast on Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, YouTube, or on Facebook at facebook.com/popluckpodcast.
Spoiler Force Podcast! I choose you!
It's an LP beat.
Alright, so this is episode 22 of Spoiler Force Podcast. I'm so excited because I literally just got done watching the finale of Demon Slayer. And if you followed the Popluck Podcast page, I posted up a post about their recent news that they confirmed a film for hopefully next year or next spring. That's after this season here. And also I have my cousin Mong Vang with me as well. He was on the podcast back on episode 6, the Gran Torino film actor as well. We've been talking recently about Demon Slayer since episode 19, after that amazing sequence of him fighting the Lower Moon 5.
I think we've talked about Demon Slayer before that, but that's the episode that made us all scream like little girls.
Yeah, like we jumped on the manga because of that episode for sure. I know I did for sure. I jumped on the manga because of that episode because I was like, you know what, I'm not waiting no more. I'm not waiting. If it's like this, because like I remember on Facebook, people were already saying that he was gonna do the Dance of the Fire Gods, and so I was like, shit. I didn't look up any pictures. So I'm like, shit. I gotta really avoid spoilers. And after the episode, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna start reading.
It's like, damn. This anime is so good. It makes me want to read.
Yeah, and speaking of that too, because like you got back into reading manga because of this, and you didn't even read any Naruto manga.
It was Naruto was continuous though. I just didn't like fillers, but it got me reading again. Thank you, Demon Slayer, for keeping me educated.
Now, so for those who are listening, this is strictly going to be Demon Slayer. Like me and my cousin Limon, we've been fangirling about Demon Slayer for the past since the summer really, and this anime's taken, at least for us, it's the anime that's been taking us by storm. Like I tried getting into other stuff that came out this summer, but nothing was topping Demon Slayer.
It's a hell of a roller coaster of an anime.
Yeah, it's not only is the animation beautiful, man. It's like the emotions there.
Oh yeah.
Storyline's good. Voice acting's phenomenal.
Yes.
And it's by far one of the best things in a very long time. That
it's got such a good mix to it. Like the animation in it for it to go, with your normal animation. And then they bring like old school styles into it, like artistic styles to it, like paintbrush styles, and then to mix it in with even 3D styles.
Yes.
It's just like wow.
Especially with Tanjiro, like the beautiful watermarks and the waves, and then Zenitsu's lightning abilities, where you see all that happening. Like he looks like the freaking Flash out there.
I mean, just look at this last episode, the very ending train scene.
Yes.
When they zoom past Rengoku inside the train, and then like when they go outside the train, it's all CGI.
Yeah, and then they go back up and you see the Lower Moon standing on top, and it's just like how the camera rotated around that. It's fucking phenomenal, man.
It's fucking crazy.
All right, so we're gonna start off here with just the overall first season, since pretty much the anime finished today. If you haven't noticed, I'm surprised by the fact that they even extended it to 26 episodes, because usually animes end around 22 to 25 the most. For this show to have 26, that's saying something.
Like when I got to episode 19, I didn't even know that they had 26 episodes, or they were planning for 26. It's just that when I saw 19, the way it ended, I thought it was the last episode of the season.
That's what I thought too.
I was like, no, this is the last episode. No, it can't be. And then they're just like, oh, it's scheduled for 26. I'm like, but that episode was so epic.
I think I would not have been mad had that been this season's finale
Right.
too. That ended so well.
It was like going to the movies.
Yeah.
And seeing a really good movie.
Now, overall with Demon Slayer Season 1, I know that we both enjoyed a lot as well. But what did you think of it? I mean, from beginning to end, from what you've seen, the show itself we were not expecting it to be as great as it was. That first arc of the series itself, it took a while to build up, but then, what do you think about? What were your thoughts on just the show overall?
The show overall it's magic. It's just great. When I first seen it, the first time I seen anything about Demon Slayer was on, like you get random videos on Facebook, and then it had the scene where he's fighting off Nezuko when she first turned into a demon. I'm like, this looks interesting. But when you just see it from a Facebook page, it did look kind of cartoony. So I'm just like, whatever. And then one day after work, I just came home. I'm just like, oh, it's on Hulu. Let me check it out. Like the first 4 episodes. And then like after the first 2 episodes, I was just hooked already. I'm like, wow, I think this is going to be a great anime. And then I just kept watching it. And kept watching it. And like every time, an episode ended, I have to wait for next week. I'm just like, I hate anime.
The fucking red roses.
Right. Stupid red roses. Oh, I fucking hate. Why couldn't they just finish the series and just put the series on there?
Yeah, and like I remember the first time I watched it. It was right after I finished watching Goblin Slayer, and something, especially with something, the title of itself, like Demon Slayer, very basic.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, something like this after Goblin Slayer too? I'm like, I'll give it a shot, because at the time I was just hunting for anime to watch, because after watching The Promised Neverland, Goblin Slayer, and like just catching up with Attack on Titan and catching up with My Hero too, I'm like, I was craving for something new. So I was like, I took a shot at it. I'm like, all right, Demon Slayer, I'll give you a chance, and hopefully you surprise me, because The Promised Neverland was the one at the beginning of this year that caught me off guard, that I was surprised by it too.
That anime fucked me up. the first fucking episode. I'm like, oh, it's just a bunch of kids, getting adopted and blah blah blah. I was like, ugh.
That fucking
getting eaten by demons. What the fuck?
And especially like a little kid. I'm like,
yeah, like the anime is so dark. I'm like, holy shit,
man. And
every episode, I'm just like, just curled up, looking like, what's gonna happen next?
And shit.
Yeah, like what's gonna happen next? Who's gonna die next? Oh my god.
Yeah, but like I watched Demon Slayer. Like I gotta say, like, to be honest, like that first episode of Demon Slayer, I liked it, but I wasn't drawn into it yet. I did like the animation when I first watched it, and like I kind of was thrown off with the fact that it was his sister that turned, and I thought that it was gonna be to where like he had to fight his sister at the end or something, kind of like how Avatar was,
right,
with Zuko fighting his sister. But no, they just kept it to where they were together the whole time, and then I think it was by the part where he cut the rock, in his train. That's when I got hooked. Then that's when like I was like, okay, so he's gonna get to final selection, and then just built off there.
Yeah, like when you first watch the first, like, I think it's the first 4 episodes, it was a good anime to watch. Like I didn't have anything else to watch, so I'm just like, I'll watch this. It was pretty good. But once he started, what got me was once he started training. Yeah. And like the way he picked up, like, he's got his scent that he can tell if you're mad just by smelling you. That's crazy. That's what got me into it. Once he started going to training, that got me more built into it. And then once he got into the final selections shit, I'm just like, wow. It's kind of nostalgic, I guess you can say. It reminded me of like old school Naruto.
For me, it reminded me of like Sonny Chiba's films, the ones where him and like the princess had to collect her guards to protect her. It reminded me of that kind of old Japanese folklore, which I loved a lot, because like that kind of Japanese style is what really makes their cartoons great, when it draws from that kind of background and that kind of source, unlike the new stuff today, which is all gimmicky and like very cartoony. And also with Tanjiro as well, like I love that his training was very direct. It was, you do this, you do this, you do this, and then they just time skip. Like, all right, he's been doing this for 6 months. That's it. I don't want to bash on My Hero, but Midoriya, man, like that fucker trains forever. Like it took him a long time just to get to where he's at.
What do you mean bashing on My Hero? It's bashing on Dragon Ball too.
Yeah,
It only takes Goku like 5 episodes to throw a fireball.
Yeah, like when you look at how Demon Slayer does it, like I think with with this anime, man, they're like, we got to make sure like we keep the fans and the audience continuously hooked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if he keeps training, it gets stale. Just like how when Goku goes Super Saiyan 3 for 5 minutes, no one's gonna, you know, keep up with it. So, yeah, but up until like where Tanjiro beats the demon in Final Selection, and then he goes into where, you know, where he first does his first mission, and then Nezuko comes out the box, and then you learn about what happened to her, and then that's what makes her character even more interesting, because not only is she not talking, she's still fighting.
Right.
I mean, like, what were your thoughts on like Nezuko's overall abilities too? I mean, like from the beginning to end, like the show doesn't like really show how she gets stronger, but then throughout the series, as they're fighting, she physically gets like more powerful.
Like, you can kind of tell off Rip already. She was different from the other demons already, just by like her first scene when she first attacked Tanjiro in the snow. Like, she grew in size, like immediately as a baby demon. You know, so off that you could just tell that she was different. And then once they got into it, like when she kicked the other demon's head off, I'm just like, wow, like a soccer ball. And then when they fought the other two demons at the house.
Yeah.
And like, she's just kicking that girl's balls like back and forth like it was a soccer ball, and that's her demon power, was those freaking balls.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow. And then getting into the manga, I'm just like, oh, Nezuko.
Yeah, we'll get there shortly. No, but like just throughout the story itself, and I love we had this chat on our Facebook accounts, and you made a point in our chat that you like how it's centered around just our characters, you know, where it's just strictly Tanjiro, Nezuko, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. Mm-hmm. Those four. I mean, the pillars and all of them, they're all awesome and everything, but the story strictly centers around those four. Which I thought that was a great point that you brought up there, because they never switch off to like, bam, you know, side tangent story, bam, side tangent story. It's strictly them.
It's focused on them,
Yeah, it's strictly them, and then like when it's like, for example, like a demon's backstory, they just give you like a brief 2 or 3 minutes of what they did, why they turned, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like about it too, where you keep it strictly on your characters, and that way you don't have an overwhelming cast of characters. Yeah, like how Naruto has an overwhelming cast.
I like how they every person they meet in there, every demon they meet there's a backstory to them, just like you were saying. But you know, the writers and stuff, they keep it minimum. You know, that's good. So you get to know about these other characters, but it's nothing crazy to where, like, oh my god, that demon was so awesome. Why did he die?
Right.
Blah blah blah. Just like how you got caught up in Red Goku, and then I remember I was like, I told you, Ricky. Don't get caught up in no other characters, man.
Yeah, I did get caught up with Rengoku, especially. I think what really caught me with him was just the fact that he was, and this is going to be partial of the manga, but how he was willing to train Tanjiro. Mm-hmm. You know, like right after you think they're safe, and he's like, yeah, I'll take you under my wing, man. Like I'll teach you. And like the dude was so open armed, and then he fucking gets killed. I'm like, bro,
it's like a quick story of Jiraiya, dude.
Yeah,
that's all it is, man.
Like, damn, man. Like, you think Tanjiro's gonna do something amazing with this guy, and then nope, they just wrote him off. I'm like, shit. So I was like, damn, I can't get hooked to these pillars, man, because you don't know who's gonna go. The first season, like we were saying earlier, it's just the story was so perfectly like written. It wasn't draggy or anything. I mean, there's 1 or 2 episodes where like they could have just done it quicker, like the training stuff, but that's just to fill up time. But overall, like this entire series has like the meaning and the details and like just the overall message. You know, like you mentioned that the theme was siblings. Yeah. And it's always Tanjiro and Nezuko, and then you have the other demons who had their siblings, and Rui was perfect as well. The Lower Moon 5, he was seeking family as well. Yeah. And then Zenitsu and his grandfather, and the Inosuke and his story.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And there's a very big family theme that's centered around this story, and not just that, it's also where Tanjiro, who's so different from everyone else, he is compassionate, empathetic towards not just the humans but to the demons. Especially after Tomioka killed Rui, he's like, step off his clothes, man. Like he was human, and why are you don't treat his stuff like this? And Tomioka's like, so what? That dude was killing people. He's like, still don't step on his clothes.
Right. It's not like he chose to be a demon,
Yeah.
He was human before too.
So I think that's what I really like about this series. I mean, especially watching this as an adult, like you catch those themes and the message that they're showing. I'm pretty sure kids who are watching this probably won't catch this. They'll definitely see the colors and the fighting, but
fuck kids.
Yeah, but I said this on my last podcast, man. This anime may look like it's for kids, it's definitely not. There's very strong themes in this series, and even the fact that in the beginning, man, Tanjiro's family got slaughtered. Like, that is not for kids.
Right. It was a bloody slaughter, too.
He goes home and his family's killed right in front of him. Like, that's not for kids. Okay, let's get to our favorite episode, talk about that, and then get to the finale. So, episode 19, when he does the Hinokami dance.
I don't think it's just our favorite. I think it's everyone's favorite. Anybody that listens to this podcast, you know what I'm saying, that's a Demon Slayer fan, 19 was that shit. Like 19.
No, like it's
just that great
because it picks off right after his sword breaks, and then Tanjiro's struggling to fight Rui because he has no idea that he was the Lower Moon 5 until Rui exposed himself. And then you see Nezuko jump in the fight, and then she's on threads, and and he's squeezing the threads on her and making her bleed, and then Tanjiro's like so concerned about his sister, so he's fighting with the broken blade, and literally the blade's not even like a hand's length. It's
just the stub.
Yeah, it's like the actual end of the blade, and so he's doing whatever he can. He does his, or at least the water technique, the best technique of the water form, and then you'd think he has a chance, and then Rui does the blood demon art, and thickens the webs, and then the flashback kicks in. And you mentioned this where you love the fact that they brought in his family, his dad, what his dad's last words was to him. About breathing and then learning the Hinokami dance and keeping your earrings, you know? And so, I mean, that part where for me personally, I felt like I wish they could have gone back into that a little bit more for Tanjiro to explain why that moment. But, at the end, I think in a previous episode or earlier that episode, they said that when your life flashes before you die or something, you remember your most important memories. Yeah. I think for Tanjiro, hearing his dad say that to him was extremely important, and then just to breathe and to stay calm, and bam, the fucking
and then the music came in. The music came in, and then he took his breath, and then the fucking water turned into fire.
Oh man, yes, and it just, I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. Like the song itself was, if have you looked up the lyrics of that song? Yeah, it's basically Tanjiro telling Tanjiro to run, to keep going, and don't stop.
It's Tanjiro's song.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful song too, and I was trying to find it to download it on iTunes. It's strictly for Japan. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. It's like I was seriously thinking about converting my iPhone to Japanese to get that song. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to lose everything. But
you're gonna be like, I can't read my phone anymore.
Yeah, like I was looking for it, and I'm like, damn, it's strictly for Japan. But no, I mean, not only is that song beautiful, the meaning's beautiful. It's just like how he did it, and in the manga, it's very straightforward to he does the dance and then he attacks. But in the anime, all the emotions building up, and then like he just goes off and he's chasing Rui, and you see the flames going, or the fire breath going, and then you think he's gonna sacrifice himself to save Nezuko, because like right before he does his attack, the webs are around him. And then Nezuko's scene, she sees her mom, right? And then like she's hanging there, and her mom's telling her wake up, save Tanjiro, he's gonna get killed. And then bam, the music kicks into, and then she sends her flames down, her demon art, and
goosebumps, man.
And the thing is, like, in the manga, they explain her abilities, which is based off her blood. Yeah. And so, her flames are ignited through her blood, and she can use that ability. Yeah. So she engulfed Rui in flames, and then Tanjiro's sword had her blood on it too. So when he attacks Rui, the flame and his flame became one, and that beautiful ending sequence to where he's like, the bond between me and Nezuko will never be broken, and he just attacks him, and then like beautiful ending to that scene.
I mean, that just so happens her demon blood is flames because she's a descendant of the breath of fire.
Yes, and it just makes it all like the better when you really break down that scene, especially reading the manga too. It's just like you realize how great this story is, and then with the finale too. I mean, we spoke about it just briefly earlier, like how Tanjiro is on that mission with Rengoku, and then at the end of the finale, the very last scene, they fucking do a Marvel shit, and they're like, greenlit Demon Slayer film, you know, and it's fucking Rengoku. I'm like, oh my god, Rengoku! Like he's the main character in that movie.
I fucking knew it. I said it from the beginning, man.
Yeah, and explain that to the fans that you know, kind of give briefly like how you guessed that was right. That way they get an idea of what you were thinking about. Because like on my post earlier, I mentioned that I believe I mentioned that that when me and you were talking about this stuff before, like most of your theories were right. You know, because like I went back and read our messages. I'm like, damn, Lee was hitting like 80% of this stuff. Like he guessed the brothers, he guessed their powers. Now the only thing that we have to see if it's right is the fact that what we were thinking, that what if Tanjiro and Nezuko weren't siblings?
Right.
And that's the one where like we want to see if that's an actual thing. But you know, before we get into that, because that's all manga right there.
Right.
You know, just how did you kind of figure the whole Rengoku?
Well, the whole theory I came up with, I was saying to our other cousin Justin, because he's a big Demon Slayer fan too. So he's like, oh man, how are they gonna do an arc about Rengoku? Because you know he's gonna die and all this stuff. I'm like, and that's when I was like, I think they're just gonna make a movie out of it. And he's like, no, they can't just make a movie. This guy, I'm like, and like I told you earlier, I just think Rengoku's death and him being the first pillar to die, and this is the first pillar fight of the anime, that they should just make it into a movie, and which they are going to make it into a movie. So yeah, I'm right. But
yeah. Oh no, go ahead.
But yeah, they have to make it into a movie, you know, because it's too big to be teasing freaking the fans like week by week. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay.
Like like I'm stuttering, man. Like the writers, they're just fucking. That's how good they are. That's how this. By watching this anime, I it's like I can read these writers. I know what they're up to, you know, and they have to make this into a movie because it's gonna keep the fan base and keep all the viewers in tune with this anime. That's why they have to make this movie. And all you Rengoku stans, sorry, but he fucking dies, and they have to make the movie because it's just that great. No,
man, and like you were saying, his death is a big part of the story because this is the first pillar we're gonna see fight. Besides Tomioka and Shinobu fighting, he's gonna be going all out using his breaths.
Yep.
And so, and not just that, we get to see the first Upper Moon fight. Mm-hmm. And so, which is Akaza, the fighter,
the taijutsu, yeah,
the Ryu of demons, pretty much. And that fight itself is such a big deal because not only did they, after Tanjiro and them beat the train and all that stuff, and you know, you see Nezuko's abilities and all that, like the aftermath of that, where you think that it's all said and done, and they beat the train demon, and then bam, Akaza just comes out of nowhere and tries to kill Tanjiro, and then they fight, and then next thing you know, he gets reverse flashed by Akaza, you know, just the arm in his heart, and it's like, oh, that shit hit me like that hurt. I'm like, damn, dude. Because
remember after we read that part though, and then we talked to each other, I told you not to stand nobody. I like the pillars, they seem really cool, but don't follow them because they're gonna die one by one.
Yeah, I mean, like I think because the thing with Rengoku is they barely show who he is, but then they at the same time they were able to write off like what he was about, and he's kind of like, I would compare him to like kind of like how Gai Sensei is in Naruto. He's like full of life, and you know, you gotta keep breathing and you gotta keep fighting for everything you want. You know, like he's all about being the positive role model in life, and so it's kind of like seeing if Rock Lee saw Guy die in Naruto. It's kind of like that.
Well, Rengoku's like that because his dad's a downer.
Yeah, exactly. And that backstory, you know, like not only did their mom die of sickness, his dad was a former pillar, and he just became drunk.
Yeah,
and completely life turned upside down, and he still had his younger brother too, and you know that part of his story is like you wouldn't expect that from Rengoku's family.
It's all families though. Everybody has a family, whether you're a pillar, whether you're a demon slayer, whether you're a demon.
Yeah. Everybody
had family, and that's what I like about this anime, because you know how we are, you and I, we're very family oriented when it comes to. That's why I think this anime touches us a lot, because it's family oriented. Like everybody has their little backstory of like what they go through. Like Rengoku, he always tried to stay positive after his mom passed away and stuff like that. but his dad was always a downer, like, oh, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that, blah blah blah. But he still did it.
Yeah.
You know. In the end, the message is saying is family.
Yeah, no, love your exactly. The writer is, saying like love your family, man. Like even if whether they're demons or whether they're pillars, like
jumping to Shinazugawa and freaking Genya, you know, that's family. Like after reading the manga, it's just a better version of Sasuke and Itachi.
Yeah,
you know, the whole time he's just like, why the fuck did you become a demon slayer? I became a freaking pillar so you can live a normal life.
Yeah. Type
of thing. But Genya's stubborn over here, like, but I just want to be like my brother because my brother's so fucking cool, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's very down to earth when it comes to the family things.
Yeah.
And, like, each pillar's background, like the scene where they were interrogating Tanjiro for the first time, like, in the manga, I found that in the manga it was more intense than the anime. Mm-hmm. But, like, people were like jumping on them, like I hate the pillars, I hate Shinazugawa, and I hate all of them. Like, wait until you read their fucking backstories, man.
Yeah.
Like to see why they're like the way they are, because a lot of them they all suffered pretty much the same way. It's like Genya and Shinazugawa, they had to kill their mom because she got turned.
That's right, people.
Yeah, and then like
people that don't know.
Yeah, and then like the rock pillar, he was defending the kids, and then they turned on him. They're like, he's the one who killed the.
And he's fucking blind, bro.
Yeah.
He can't even see.
And then Tomioka's story where he was being trained under Urodaki-san, and then like you learn that I forgot who his name was, but the two kids before him, they were all on the same team and they died because they were protecting him.
Yeah,
and
that's his best friend.
Yeah, and
that's why half of his robe is his boy's robe.
Yeah, and then when I read that part of the manga, I'm like, oh, like he feels worthless, like like he's so guilty because of that. Because if he hadn't been the pillar, then it would have been his friend.
Yeah,
would have been the water pillar.
Tomioka's Kakashi.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. That's like he's so calm and throughout the whole story, and like even like the goofy characters, like the love pillar, man, like. She got into a bad marriage and like they kicked her out and shit. And,
yeah.
Like, her whole aspect was to just love everyone regardless,
Right.
And her powers are fucking OP as hell because she can take a hit, she's strong as fuck. And
she's actually a man.
Yeah.
Her real form, she's like freaking Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. And like I think the only pillar I feel like we haven't seen was
it's the snake pillar.
The snake pillar. I think his story's the only one we haven't seen yet. He gives me a lot of like Orochimaru vibes just because of the snake shit.
Yeah,
and
that kind of does, but I think he's gonna show off to be like pretty strong himself.
Because in the manga, him and the love pillar, they're fighting the newest upper moon, which is the guitar.
Yeah,
the instrument playing one, and they haven't jumped back into that yet. And then even with the mist pillar, the young kid, the prodigy, his story was sad because
her story.
It could be either one. Haku, it could be either one, man. But like the character's story was like their twin.
Yeah,
the twin died, and he had to carry on that pain from that too. And so each pillar has their own backstory that makes it more real to where like you shouldn't be judging other people, or you see when they write down the stories for each demon or each upper moon, pretty much like the best example for me would be Akaza's story.
Mm-hmm.
Where why would he turn into a demon? Well, because his family treated him like shit, and then he gets married and he finds a sensei, and then his wife and the sensei get poisoned because people were jealous of their dojo.
Right.
And you see why he turns. I'm like, shit, like you see both spectrums of the good guys and the villains and why they are all chasing that one goal of just pretty much like finding their own justice pretty much. But to where how Nezuko is, your theories, or at least our theories, was that they're not siblings, and because the manga they explained that Muzan has a reason for her and he's after her. So kind of give the fans like your thoughts on that, like
the reason now, if for all you fans out there, if you guys are deep into the manga like we are, you can't just think like, okay, Muzan's after her because of what she's capable of right now. She can walk in the sun. That's what they're making you think, why Muzan's after her. But you got to think about why Muzan chose her.
Yes. You
know what I'm saying? Like, he killed the whole family, but she turned out to be the demon. So there's something special about her. So that's why I remember when I was telling you the theory is I'm thinking like, Tanjiro's family, Tanjiro and like his dad, they're from Yorichi and the Upper Moon 1. They're from that bloodline.
Yeah, the sun breathers and the moon breathers.
Yeah, and then it just so happens that maybe Tanjiro's mom is from Muzan's side.
Right. Yep.
You know,
you brought that up in our chat.
And it could be something like, oh, she might be Muzan's like great niece or great granddaughter or something, and Nezuko just happens to be, maybe she's Muzan's daughter.
Yes.
You know, you don't know that because Muzan's walking around the city with a wife and kid, but he's creating all these children to find that cure so he can walk in the sun.
Oh, nice.
So Nezuko just happens to be one of his illegitimate child that, okay, she's the chosen one. I did right one time.
No, and to add to that too, it's like Muzan's background is he's related to the Demon Slayer leader.
Yeah.
And like their bloodline's cursed, or at least the men are, because they can only live up to like 25 and then they die. They start dying off, and so Muzan was actually one of the first in his bloodline to break that curse by turning himself into a demon, which they found that he met the doctor, found the flower, and the whole time he was like looking for that flower to see if he can like walk in sunlight. And then now that Nezuko's broken that curse, he's after her because of that ability. And not just that, it's just you learn that she, like, they mentioned her real last name. Like, you know, I'm after her. I forgot what it was, but it's the same last name as the Demon Slayer leader. Like, she's from that clan. Mm-hmm. So for sure, she is definitely one of them. But the thing is that really Tanjiro's sister? Or, like, that's the kind of the plot hole right now. Like, it's, you don't know if they're just half siblings or somehow related. Like, the Tanjiro's dad just saved her mom and Nezuko and brought her home.
Yeah, well, you gotta look at all the significances in like all animes, right? Like all families have their ties, and then how do they really tie families together, especially in animes? Is their eye colors, right? Yeah. Because Tanjiro and his dad, they have like a burnt red eye color, and then if you look at like Muzan and the leader of the Demon Slayers and Nezuko and her mom, they all have pink eyes.
Yeah, like purplish pink. Mm-hmm. They have a very like a
different
tint.
They have a different glare too.
Yeah, like it's a glare that stands out, especially with Muzan since he's a demon too. So it's like it's very like it glows. Mm-hmm. But the same thing for Nezuko, her eyes glow too. Especially like hopefully they color the manga or at least do some sort of part because when she starts using her abilities, like her eyes start glowing more.
Well, the manga doesn't really when it comes to like the artistry of the manga, I'm not too concerned about it because it's a manga, and like 60% of the manga is derpy eyes anyway. Yeah, and it's derpy animation, but the way that the season has ended, and after all that we watch, we already know that the artists, they're gonna transform the manga into an anime so well. Yeah. So when Nezuko turns into her full-fledged demon form, she's gonna look badass.
Oh hell yeah. Yep. They're definitely gonna do like shots of the manga for sure, like different panels, just to show that it's from the manga. But the fight scenes for sure are gonna be way beyond what we've been reading, and just like going back to how Nezuko and her family is like that's like the biggest twist to the story, because it's, if she really is part of that clan, and that shows like that's gonna be a huge factor on Tanjiro. And that's going to test his character down. Like, oh, shit, she's not my sister. Has my family been lying to me this whole time?
Like what's going on?
Yeah, he's going to start doubting everything. And I think that's going to be a huge test for Tanjiro's character. Because not only is he a soft character, he's very sensitive to his sister. Yeah. So if he learns that that's not his sister, then he's going to... I mean, for sure, he's going to defend her regardless, but it's going to take him back. And he's going to really start thinking about things.
It's gonna make the story a little bit crazy if it does come to that. We're not saying it's gonna happen. It's just it's just our theories, just like how I was telling you, because remember when we found out like, oh, Nezuko can walk in the sun and stuff, and I'm like, and then I immediately told you like, yeah, because she doesn't eat humans. Yes. And you're like, that's right.
And that being said, that I do think that's probably why she's able to walk in the sun, because the fact that she doesn't consume anyone from the start, and like every demon, even the best of demons, like Tamayo, like when she turned, she consumed her family, and then she stopped, but that didn't stop her from not walking in sunlight.
Yeah.
So, and even her student, the Edward of the story, he doesn't consume anyone, but Tamayo gives him drops of blood here and there so he can maintain his thirst. So I think the fact that every demon consumes like even a drop of blood, of human blood, that they makes them not walk in sunlight. And I think with Nezuko, she broke that hypothesis or that theory.
Yeah, that's why Muzan can't follow her.
Yeah.
Muzan can't see her or share her feelings or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because Muzan's connected to everyone, but this is the thing though, because Tamayo and her student, they broke the curse too, but it took years and years and years to break off that curse. I think it's because they weren't consuming humans anymore, and I think that's how they broke off, and that's why Muzan was after her so much too, because I think he knew that she knew the secret.
Yeah.
And like with every, like even in this finale episode, like you see Muzan's connected to everyone. He can read your thoughts. He knows what you're doing. He knows how you're feeling. So that's a wicked ass ability, because like he's talking not just to his regular demons, but even the upper moons. And the manga, or the most recent chapter, the one that you recently just read, like not even 10 minutes ago, or like he's linked, and Genya's ability where he can consume demon flesh and see what they're seeing. He felt Muzan's presence.
Yep.
And so I think that's gonna be a huge part to where like what I was saying to you before in our chat, to where like the main characters with the sense, Tanjiro with his smell, Zenitsu with his hearing, Inosuke with touch, Kanao with sight, and then with Genya with taste. And then with Nezuko, I think those 6 characters are going to be the one that finishes off Muzan. I don't think any pillar is going to fight Muzan. I think maybe Tomioka's going to like confront him, but then not finish him.
I think Giyu is going to have a little confrontation with it. He's going to be part of it. He has to, because to me, Tomioka, he's the main pillar to me.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
Because he's the first one you see out of all the pillars.
He's the main pillar to me. Like, I don't care if you say, oh, the rock pillar is the strongest, blah blah blah. But as a character, like selection wise, he's the main pillar, because he's been there since the beginning, And then like once you get into his backstory, it goes deeper than that. He went through the same chain as Tanjiro did, training with Urukadaki, whatever his name is. I can't pronounce it, but that's why I'm saying he's the main guy. He's the main pillar, and I think he's gonna fight Muzan with Tanjiro and those guys. Yeah,
there has to be at least one pillar to be with them in that final confrontation. Now that we're like we've been touching up on the manga from like certain parts, we practically talked about Rengoku's death, which is a huge part, and then the arc after that too is where they fight where they encounter and defeat their first upper moon, which is that twin, the twin upper moon, and that whole chapter itself, that whole arc itself, from the red light district to where they finish them off, it's like what, 50 chapters, and
it's a big arc.
Yeah, and I think for season 2, I think that's how. If this film ends off with Rengoku dying, then the second season is going to start off with them in the red light district. And so, because had the film not been announced, I thought that it was going to be the train arc, and then like a little bit of training in the mid season, and then the finale would have been them defeating the demons in the red light district. That would have been, for me at least, all of season 2.
Yeah, but they're doing it right with the movie though.
Yeah, so now with the movie, it's completely thrown off my train of thought now. So,
but they're doing it right.
Now with that fight scene though, I mean, like they showed a part of Tanjiro which we've never seen, when he was holding his breath and he had the fever, and like his power is just like amplified, and like even his eyes. I think if anything, if they're gonna show that in the manga, his eyes are probably like bloodshot red,
right? From
what it looks like. And not just that, Nezuko goes full demon. She has the horn, and then her veins like popping out her face, and her regenerative.
I think his eye's gonna glow a little bit, but they're gonna be more focused on his mark.
Yeah,
on his forehead.
Yeah. And his scar was growing. Yeah, and not just him. All the other pillars, or any demon slayer really, when they reach a certain point of their breathing technique, they each have
a mark.
A mark. You know, like I think Shinizagawa had one across his chin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like one, the Mist Pillar had one across his cheek. You know, they and then the Rock Pillar, he had like one across his body.
Yeah.
And so they each have a unique, I guess, a unique tribal tattoo. You know, that's what it kind of looks like.
Yeah.
But with Tanjiro, his mark is like it's constant. His dad had it, he had it, and then the first Demon Slayer, Yorichi, he has it, and it's across their head.
Yeah.
And it's constant, so I think that's
because Yorichi's his great-great-grandfather.
And not just that, like, the Upper Moon 1 is the twin brother of him, and if back in Upper Moon 1's backstory, he met a younger, I guess, descendant of, that's probably of, like, Tanjiro's bloodline, where the character looks exactly like Tanjiro.
Yeah.
But it's a completely different character, and that's it. It's only that one or two page panel, and then that was it.
Are you talking about when he was still human?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the kid. He's like, you know, it's, I forgot what he said, but it was, the panel was clearly.
Well, he was there. The guy that looked just like Tanjiro was his sister's husband, wasn't it? He was there holding the baby, right?
I think so. I don't recall. I just remember the panel where they're both sitting outside on that porch. And
Yeah, because the guy that looked like Tanjiro was like, "Thanks for watching the baby while because his wife was sick, whatever."
Yeah,
But that's his sister.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense now. Yeah. So like you see the link between Tanjiro and the Upper Moon 1 and the first Demon Slayer. So that's gonna be a big part. But going back to where the Red Light District arc, when Tanjiro transforms or he upgrades, like his Super Saiyan form, what you could call it, like the demon who he was fighting has the flashbacks, and it's Yorichi's like silhouette, and it's Muzan. Like, that's what Muzan fears, and that's why Muzan in the series or throughout the entire series keeps saying, "Kill the guy with the earrings," because because we don't want him around. You know, like,
that guy's fucking scary. Please get rid of him.
And I think with Tanjiro's abilities, like, because that's the only, like, throughout the whole manga, like, that's the only time he's released that form. And because like he was forgetting to breathe, and then his flashback of his family was like, "Tanjiro, breathe! You know, you're not breathing." And he takes his breath, all the power is gone.
Yep. And
then then he goes into Nezuko doing her fights, and like she goes insane too. And, like her healing powers are super amplified. You know, the Upper Moon like cut off her arm and leg, and they just grew back instantly. Yep. And so like that's gonna be epic too when they get to that fight. Now, what are your thoughts on the Upper Moons? Like each Upper Moon that we've encountered throughout the series, because not only their backstory but their overall powers too. Like each of them brought some sort of, because there's a different way to kill each one of them. So, which one were you like most impressed by besides Upper Moon 1, since he was the most powerful one?
Like, I'm not too impressed with Upper Moon 1 because you're Upper Moon 1 for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And then you look back at the manga, he's the first Demon Slayer's brother. So you already know they're both strong. They both hold their own breaths. They're the first breaths, the sun and the moon. And then that's why I'm not too impressed with him. He's super strong already. But with the other pillars, I mean, not pillars, but the other Upper Moons, it's nothing really impressive. I guess you could say the only one that really impressed me was the Taijutsu fighter.
Okay.
When I understand that like he killed Rengoku, I'm like, oh, he's got to be pretty strong. And then later in the manga, when they go back to him, I'm like, he's fucking awesome. he's like an evil Rock Lee.
Yeah.
You know? But
and like the fact that how they killed him or how you're supposed to kill him, that's was a huge twist to his abilities. Mm-hmm. And like it wasn't as simple as how, I mean, like killing each of the Upper Moons wasn't a simple task anyway. But like I think with Upper Moon 3, the way to kill him was like pretty much Tanjiro had to go almost Ultra Instinct.
Right.
You shouldn't have any intention at all.
I don't really find like trying to kill them like impressive because you have to do certain things. I find it more annoying. Like, oh,
Like they're all a puzzle and shit.
Yeah, it's like a big old stretch. Like you have to cut off this part and this part at the same time, or do this and this. If you don't do it at the right time, you're still alive. It's just like it's a little irritating. If you put yourself into a Demon Slayer's shoes, like fuck, you know.
Keep retrying over and over.
That I guess that's just the way I view things though. Like I'm putting myself in like Tanjiro's shoes.
Yeah.
Like oh, this fucker just won't die, you know. That's the way I look at it. But if you want to be impressed, it's you got to look at the good guys side to be impressed. Like we haven't seen the snake dudes. We've seen a little bit of the love pillar. We know that she's a man. I thought the rock pillar was gonna be more impressive because
me too, but
it kind of disappointed me.
I think if anything, he's just physically strong.
Yeah,
and he had the ball and chain. That's it.
Yeah, Shinazugawa. He's like a kamikaze type of pillar. I guess you could say Tomioka was really impressive. Like when he killed Rui. Yeah. When he just went into his freaking full blown loner mode.
Like and he does the his own technique. Yeah,
the 11th form. Where the fucking calm. That's why like when I read the memes, it's like that's why he has that form because he's lonely. But yeah. Like
and the manga did that scene so much justice too, or the anime did. In the manga, you just see him walk past Rui and bam, heads off. Yeah. In the animation, you see like the drop of water, and then they give you the environment, and he just cuts off his head.
Like he just walks by himself. Yeah. Bye.
And I think for the Mist Pillar, that's going to be similar too, because the Mist Pillar's ability is like he can control the speed of where she goes at with the fog. Mm-hmm. Like the thicker the fog or something, then he goes faster, and then like if he's thinking about going slower, then he can adjust everything around him.
Like the Shinobi Pillar, I thought he was pretty cool because he grew up in a Shinobi family that he can intake. Give me your fucking poison. You can't kill me with poison. I'm a ninja. That type of shit. And then
and he has not just his sound abilities. He can hear and sense everything.
Yeah, because he's a ninja. Then that just brings back memories of Naruto. That's what I thought was cool about that. But going back to being impressed, I would have to say, next to Tanjiro, excluding all pillars, it would just have to be Zenitsu. Yes, because every time that dumbass powers up or does something special, it's fucking phenomenal. Like I cannot wait for the next 5 years to pass, so we could finally see Zenitsu go into his own form. That shit was crazy.
Zenitsu by far has been my favorite character throughout the series, and definitely by far the most annoying to me. Oh yeah. Only because I feel like I can relate to him. Because for me personally, I always bitch and complain about everything I do, just like him. I think that's why I don't like his character, because I see myself in that character. Like everything that you're told to do, you bitch and complain about it. That's kind of how I do things. But at the same time, you still get shit done. Yeah. And then like when it's time to get serious though, then I relate to that. You just get shit done. That's exactly what Zenitsu does. When he goes into that sleeper mode, he gets shit done. Like the first time you see him unleash that thunder form, by far one of the best 10-15 seconds of your life.
It was a jaw-dropping scene. Yeah, because he just goes to sleep, and then within a snap, the guy's tongue gets slashed off, and then he stands up, and then he just goes first form. Thunderclap flash. I was like, what? This fucking idiot? Like, you knew he was strong though. Just you could tell who's gonna be strong or who's strong just by the fucking intro. Yeah. When you see Zenitsu just kind of flash with the lightning, I'm like, oh, that's the lightning guy. Oh, Tanjiro's the water. What about the pig? Yeah. And then when he did his shit in the forest where he was just like,
although that's the hyper sense, and he can
sense the fucking beast breathing. I'm like, oh, Inosuke's so fucking cool. Yeah,
and that just that's his own breathing technique too. Like, because again, like each of these forms, they're all varied from the sun and the moon, and it all goes down to whatever technique that they have. But the beast breathing is actually just Inosuke, and in his story, like he's an orphan, so everything he did was basically on his own. Yep. That's what makes this character so impressive. The fact that he doesn't need anyone. He only follows Tanjiro because Tanjiro's willing to feed him and lead him around. But going back to Zenitsu though, I mean, I love his character, especially in the manga, especially when shit got real. You know, like even throughout the train arc, the red light district arc, you slowly see his character build off his powers.
Yep.
And like you go 6-fold, 8-fold, you know, Godspeed, and then he fights his elder that was training with him with his grandfather or his teacher,
the one that was supposed to be the successor.
Yeah, and like he find out that he turned into a lower moon, and then oh no, was it upper moon, or I think he turned into one of the moons for sure.
He was he happened to be the upper moon
6, I think, the last one.
Yep.
Yeah, because the upper moon 1 gave him the blood. But anyways, like that, the sequence to that is like where Zenitsu's complaining and bitching about everything from the very beginning of training, and like, you know, and in the manga, in the panel, like he's sitting on the rock, and they're trying to push the rock because of the first the upper or the pillar 1, the rock pillar. He's teaching him how to push the rock with the correct breathing form. Zenitsu never masters it, but Tanjiro goes in and goes, "Hey, is everything all right with you? Are you okay?" And he goes, "I'm fine. I know what I'm doing." And like he has the letter, and they don't expose the letter yet until the end. And then like he just fights his elder, and he's like, "You know, man, there's a reason why Gramps only taught me one technique, and there's the reason why Gramps taught you everything else but the first technique." And like just the build up to that scene, man, like you just see how serious Zenitsu got. It took for his grandfather or his teacher to die to realize like he can't play kiddie games no more. Like he can't fuck around no more.
Yeah, he's gotta be serious.
Yeah, and so that's what I love about his character. Like that, just any character that has a major turnaround like that, where throughout the entire series they're just one thing, and then the next they're like Super Saiyan. You know, it's I love it. I absolutely love it. It just like it's motivating in a way. It's like you see Zenitsu, he does his own 7th form, and he unleashes it.
I mean, come on, it's the only manga that you read. The part in the manga where you read and you scream because of fucking Zenitsu. Because like when I read it, and it was like basically like the dragon thunder god coming down from the fucking skies. You're just like, oh my god,
yeah.
He's so strong.
And the thing is, like, that's what makes his character so great too. Is like because he only knew one form, and he mastered that one form to where it was Godspeed. So, you know, like they don't ever show him training or practicing or like doing anything to create that form throughout the whole series. He just does it off the fly. Yeah. And like that was so fucking amazing because like I mean like technically he was losing that fight because his elder was like whooping his ass, like, you know, thunder form this, thunder form that. Yeah. And Zenitsu just couldn't keep up with him. He was fast
because he just kept going into the first form. Then the guy's just like, that's all you fucking know.
So like that was amazing. But to Inosuke though, I mean, let's break down Inosuke's story, okay? Because he's an orphan. He's raised by a boar. Yeah. And his backstory, the farmer helped him, and then the farmer's son or something was always cussing and screaming around him. So he learned how to talk because of that. Yeah. Which is why Inosuke is so wild, because he was learning it from like farmers. Yeah. So he picked up that kind of culture around him. And then, you know, in the anime, when he's getting his head squeezed by the giant spider demon, you see his mom, or a flashback of a woman holding him, which is his mom, and like, you know, she has him in the blanket, and then
he's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Who is that?"
And then like going to where in the manga where they're at, or at least in the manga after Shinobu's death.
Yeah, when they're fighting the
Upper Moon 2.
Upper Moon 2, yeah.
And that's been spoiled all over Facebook. Everyone's spoiling that shit. Like, she died. I'm like, damn. Yeah. Like, y'all are way behind. And like, you know, Inosuke's always has like, he's always a comedic relief where like, because everything to him is, he doesn't feel anything towards it.
Yeah, but for him to get serious in the manga.
Yeah. This is like the first time we see him like really break down as a character and go like, I'm about to whoop your ass, you know, because I mean, he's always competing with Tanjiro and Zenitsu and always trying to prove himself, but there's never been a time to where he really got
just
down.
Do it for himself.
Yeah. And so he does it against Upper Moon 2, because Upper Moon 2 is like, your face looks like the woman that I killed. And holy shit, dude, that was like such a sad scene, man. It's, you learn that his mom was like, you know, the reason why his name was on his diaper, because she wanted him to be safe. Yeah. And then like, you know, he realizes that, okay, this guy killed my mom, I'm about to whoop this guy's ass. And after him and Kanao beat him, and like Kanao's crying because she's thinking about, Shinobu and her sister, and then Inosuke's like, yeah, we whooped his ass, and then he just has that panel where he breaks down. He just thinks of his mom. He starts breaking down like, oh my god, like feels like he realized that his mom loved him the entire time.
Yeah.
And because like throughout the series, he felt like his mom didn't love him because like he tells Tanjiro when they first met, he's like, why would my mom leave me if
right, she abandoned me with boars and stuff.
And then Tanjiro kind of goes, well, if your mom didn't love you, she would have never left your name on your clothes. So that's like the teaser to Inosuke's story. But man, I think the way how they broke down Inosuke's story is very heart touching. You see someone as hard and thick as Inosuke is, and that dude had a very emotional background.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good way to bring his character down too, to where like you can relate to him.
The part that broke out for his story was when he's like, "Oh, it's destiny that I get to kill a demon today, and the demon that killed my mother."
Yes.
I was like, "Ooh!" When I read that shit, I'm like, "You about to get fucked up?"
I mean, like Upper Moon too. I mean, he was crazy. He was like Joker-esque, you know?
Yeah.
He gave no fucks, and he was still like, I'm about to go eat you and you and you. I'm about to go eat them. You know,
you're all gonna be delicious.
Yeah, he's fucking crazy, and the fact like his ice powers were insane too, because like they couldn't get close to him, and Kanao had to perfectly time her ability to get him with the poison, and if it wasn't for Shinobu either, he would have never been killed.
Yeah,
because he
just happened to meet the wrong group.
Yeah,
because I think he would have been able to like kill the other pillars and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He just happened to meet the poison group.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then after eating Shinobu, he just got poisoned to death.
Because you gotta remember, like, in his scenes when he was fighting, even his ice clones had the same amount of power that he did.
Yeah.
You know? His clones were strong, just like him. So, thank you, Shinobu, for your death.
Sacrifice was worth it. I mean, like, I can't wait to meet the Upper Moons though, like in the anime form, because I was hoping that they were gonna tease like silhouettes of them. You know, when Muzan was doing his speech, you see like a silhouette of Upper Moon 3, 2, and all of them and whatnot. But no, I'm not too mad at that. But Upper Moon 2 for sure, and Upper Moon 1 and Upper Moon 3 are gonna be the ones I look forward to seeing in action. Like the other ones were kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
The Red Light District one, they weren't too bad. Their story was sad for sure, because I thought that the way how they broke down their story was like, especially like the Red Light District, how they had to fend for themselves. That was very sad. But yeah, man, like overall, Demon Slayer's characters, they're so well written, man. Like their names are not the easiest to remember, but their abilities and how they look like and what they're about is much more than that. It's more than their names, which is why when we keep naming off these characters, we're just naming them based off what they are, you know,
like their positions and stuff.
Yeah, because that's more easier to remember. Like, I mean, who's gonna remember Shinazugawa's name because he's the fucking Wind Pillar? Like, his name is too damn long. Just call him the Wind Pillar. You know, Genya's brother. But yeah, man, like, so we've already talked about we talked about what our highlights were in the manga, because breaking down the manga itself is going to be like a whole other topic. But so let's get into what do you think the ending is going to be like now that we've read up to what we know. It's still ongoing, but just what are your thoughts on how they're going to end Demon Slayer?
Well, first things first, the ending of Demon Slayer is going to be Muzan's death, of course. But I think with Muzan's death, it's going to be a crazy backstory with his death. You know, it's going to go back on his story. Because if you look at the manga, the only thing we know is that, like, he was sick. And his bloodline is just a bunch of sick people. They don't live long. When he dies, they're going to touch more bases on his story. Of,
like who he is as a character.
Like who he is as a character. Who he was when he was human. You know, and then it's gonna bring in all like the relationships between him and Tanjiro's family, and you know, basically everything is gonna tie together at the end. You know, all our theories are gonna just go out the window. Yes. You know,
it's kind of like gonna be like the Voldemort of the story, where there's gonna be significant parts, and it's all gonna be related to him. Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be like the finale, but I don't know. It's kind of like like what I've been thinking is like I don't know if it's gonna be. We all know Tanjiro is the main character of the story, but is it gonna be Tanjiro or is it gonna be Nezuko that kills him?
Okay.
That's what it's gonna come down to. Like I understand it's gonna be Muzan's powerful as shit. You know, he's gonna fight 4 or 5 of our main guys. But which one's gonna land the final blow? And I'm leaning towards Nezuko because he's the one that transformed her. And then going back to our theory saying that, you know, Nezuko might be his child or something like that. It might be a sad ending, you know, like she lands the deadly blow or something and he might be like my daughter or something like that. You never know.
Or even beforehand, like he tells the truth and then she has to kill him anyway. But you know that's a good way to think about it too, especially with Nezuko's character, and like she doesn't communicate with them, but then I think with when she runs into Muzan, I think there's definitely going to be some sort of communication there.
Yeah, there's just going to be something like, I think I know you.
Yeah, and you know I think with you think they're going to do like the whole Star Wars thing where when they kill Muzan, everyone else gets killed off, like the demons and stuff get killed off.
That's the theory inside the manga and the anime, because he is the beginning demon.
Right.
But it's just like anything that's being created in life. Once you're created, you have your own life. You have your own being. You have your own self. So I think if Muzan dies, it doesn't necessarily kill off all the demons that were created. I think they're still gonna live. You know, because they have their own demon blood in them. Just because he dies doesn't mean that they're gonna die.
Right. But like some of the demons do have like a part of him in them though. That's the thing though. Yeah. That's right there in the manga. They're thinking that's why it's linked. What would suck?
I think. Well, I think once he dies, that part of him inside them dies, but it doesn't kill them.
You think it'll turn them back to human?
No.
No. Okay.
I think they're gonna stay demon. Like the whole sensory thing where he can feel them and stuff like that, that's gonna go away. All the demons are gonna become their own demon.
Okay. What I was trying to say was like with Nezuko, if they are in fact like if they are related in some sort of way, shape, or form, like if for example if he gets killed off, what if that affects her too? You know, and even though they're not saying that they're like linked, what if like even though he's still the one that turned her, or at least that's what we think.
Yeah.
And because Tanjiro is convinced that it is because of Muzan that his sister's a demon. So,
I don't think that's going to change anything with Nezuko. I think she's her own being because he was never able to follow her from the beginning anyway.
Right. He couldn't find her.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy about like the beginning too is like he slaughtered the family and she was still there, and why didn't he take her, or like why didn't he finish her off? You know, and she was there holding the family when they all were dead. So that's gonna hopefully they touch back on that for sure, like with Muzan's background, like when he goes into the family and kills them.
Yeah, just with the way the writers are doing things, they're gonna be consistent with their flashbacks, going back and forth. Like even if it's not showing in the manga, there's some things in the manga that are not in the anime, and there's some things in the anime that aren't in the manga.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And speaking of that, I just want to bring up the fact that when Tanjiro thought that he heard Nezuko speak in the anime, that wasn't in the manga.
Yeah, that wasn't in there.
Yeah. So there could be like a big twist to like that in the anime, which is why we're still watching the anime and reading the manga, because we know the story, but they could always switch up arcs. They could always change or add something.
Yeah, you gotta look at the manga as basically, it's a good follow up, and it's good to read it to stay informed of what's gonna happen next. But you gotta also remember that mangas are just like the blueprints for anime.
Yeah.
You know, so anime is what really brings out the emotions in people. So the writers have to look at the manga and be like, what could we do here that in this anime that we could take away from the manga to make this pop out even more. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff in and out of the manga and the anime that's gonna make us like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Again, just to bring this up again to our listeners. Again, my thoughts on the ending was that it was going to be our main crew, Genya, Kanao, and all them, and our main characters fighting Muzan. Now, you've said you think Nezuko will take the final blow. I'll play devil's advocate. I think Tanjiro would take the final blow. Only because not just the fact that he's the main character, but his sword is also a part of his ancestor. It's the red blade, and then he's also got the fire breathing techniques with and his earrings play a crucial role. So that's probably gonna be the last thing Muzan sees. Is like the thing he dreads is gonna be the last thing he sees. Like fuck those earrings, like fuck them. And I think maybe Tanjiro's gonna come up with his own technique, mix the water and fire breathing or something, or find some sort of way to do an amazing like final attack.
The floor is lava.
But yeah, the manga is always throwing us off, man. Because the theories we were discussing, most of the base of it was correct. It's just what we never really guessed right was how they got to it.
Yeah,
like how you were saying, like Nezuko's or Tanjiro's ancestor, Emperor Moon 1, they're brothers. But we never got to the point where we never thought the fact they were twins. That was a huge thing.
Yeah.
And we kept thinking that they were young, when they were fighting and when Upper Moon 1 turned. But it turns out like Upper Moon 1 turned way before then.
Yeah.
And Upper Moon and Yoriichi, the first Demon Slayer, he was super old by the time they confronted each other the last time. So and not just that, he broke the bloodline curse of him dying young too, which is why Upper Moon 1 turned, because he wanted to prevent himself from dying. And but yeah, we got the basis of these theories mostly right. Again, it's just
we just didn't have it pinpointed.
Yeah, we're not detailing our theories, and then again our theory of Nezuko and Tanjiro being siblings. Now, to our listeners, if you want to throw in your theories and throw in your thoughts and all that stuff as well, and if you're reading the manga, email or message us at Poplik Podcast on Facebook or on Gmail. I will definitely read your stuff and respond to it as well. This stuff, and I'm definitely going to share this with you too, Leah. I love to hear your thoughts on this too, man, because what we discussed is just barely a fraction of what how great this overall show is, and it's by far one of the things that I think what caught me on this was, in a way, it was like Attack on Titan, because it's something I wasn't expecting to blow up and catch me like this. Like with Naruto, I knew from the start, all right, Naruto's a given. It's gonna be good. Dragon Ball Z, that's a given. That's good. But something like this is you're kind of iffy, and then now we're hooked.
it really caught me off guard, man. I'm like, it only took me 19 episodes to get teary-eyed. Like when Tanjiro went into his flame form and the music came on, Nezuko showed her demon blood power, I was just like, I got teary-eyed. I was out there screaming, jumping, like holy, like a little kid. I was out there jumping and shit. Like the only other anime that's made me teary-eyed like that was Naruto when he met his mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When he met his mom, I cried. I was like, wow.
No, I mean, the emotional spectrum of animes, people are forgetting that just because they're drawn out doesn't mean you can feel those emotions. And and people say that dub is better than sub. No, dude, there's a reason why these subs are so much better than the English dubs. English actors are great, but they don't capture you with the emotions and the rawness of the Japanese dub.
Yeah.
These Japanese actors are just by far over phenomenal. One of my favorite actors is the Yuki something. He's the guy who does the voice of Eren and Todoroki. That dude is fucking phenomenal. There's a clip on YouTube where he does the scene where Eren's crying and laughing, and you see him doing a live performance of it. It's he's watching the screen, and then he just emulates that, and just from staring at the screen, he just brings out this raw emotion from his stomach and just starts emulating Eren. I'm like, damn, dude, these guys blow us away in America. Fuck Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat because of the whole Funimation thing, but those guys are nothing compared to these Japanese actors, man. These, or at least these new wave of Japanese actors.
Well, that's the difference between a passion and just a job.
Yeah.
Over here, voice acting, it's more just a job. you're not gonna see a voice actor go super crazy like how they do in Japan. Like when you watch subbed anime and hear their real voices, that's like that voice actor, that's his passion, you know. Like just listen to Tanjiro when he's going into his water form, into his fire form, and that in episode 19, people.
The fucking like when he's like the part where he's like, you know, don't stop, run, you gotta protect Nezuko, and he starts screaming like, dude, you can feel that rawness of that voice actor to where like it's not even the voice actor no more, it's completely Tanjiro. Yeah, where you feel like Tanjiro's a real character on screen, and like that's what's amazing about anime, man. Like you don't think of them as cartoons or drawn out characters, or like you feel like you're watching a live action character out there, you know. And I think, you know, Demon Slayer being one of the greatest examples of just the overall anime artwork, I think that's why anime itself is in its own genre. And, you know, like, you know me, I love my comic books. I love Batman, Superman, all them. But those characters are great. But the differences between anime and comic books is like anime is strictly focused on you as a character. It's not like how comic books are, where it's the greater good of everyone. But anime is like, what am I gonna do to focus on myself and those around me? Besides, because like with, for example, Batman, it's a great story, great character, 80 years of that dude. But it's always been about Batman and his outlook on the world versus him and his family. You know, like Tanjiro's him and his family, and so that's where the differences are. So I think with American viewers, or at least Western viewers, when they watch anime, they don't see it like how we would watch it, and put yourselves in those character shoes when it's just strictly you and your family versus you and the world. So I think that's what makes, like, you know, Naruto so good, Demon Slayer so good, even Dragon Ball so good.
That's why people don't get that point of what you're talking about until like it's explained like this. Like they're like, oh, what are they talking about on their podcast, whatever, blah blah blah. And then if you really look at it, at anime, it does do that to you, because every little boy that watches Dragon Ball wants to be Goku. Yeah. You know? Not everybody wants to be Batman. People want to be Batman because I'm Batman. Yeah. Maybe that's about it, you know?
I mean, like Batman doesn't... I love Batman, and I love his character, but I think Batman is definitely drawn more towards adults. Whereas Goku, he's drawn to kids. Yeah. So that's why, like, it's... People don't understand how and why anime is so much different in the culture. I mein, even if there's anime that's like made for adults, there's themes and settings are different. It's all, like I was saying before, it's always about, in anime it's about you, and in comic books it's about them. That's what makes Superman so good. Everyone loves Superman because Superman is selfless. Everyone loves Goku because Goku is selfish. You know? Goku is all about himself and improving himself, but Superman's about, how am I going to protect them? Then people get that confused, and that's why there's always the anime versus comic book debate going on. People don't see it like that.
That's why My Hero Academia is a good example.
Yes.
You know, we are Deku as people, chasing to be All Might. But as viewers to My Hero, we want to be like Deku. Yeah. You know, that's the difference. Like that's how you get more in depth. That's what anime does. Sometimes it's just unexplainable.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, with just to go tangent here with My Hero. Did you see the latest movie poster they put up? No. The Heroes Rising. I
seen the trailer.
Yeah. The latest news is that they announced two original villains in the movie, so they're not even in the manga. So they're original movie villains. And then the latest poster they posted this morning, they showed all of Class 1A on the poster. So unlike the first movie, you're gonna see all the class together. Yeah. And then they have like the villains in the background, and then one of the top 10 heroes in the other corner. You're not reading the manga, so I don't want to tell you who it is.
My Hero's good, but it's not good enough for me to read the manga. I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, let's wrap up this Demon Slayer stuff, man. Like, I'm so glad that yeah, I know you said you were busy this week too. I'm glad I found you found time to do this with me, especially with the finale of Demon Slayer, man. Like, I cannot explain how much I love this show. Like, even you messaged me like, did you buy those Demon Slayer Van Presto statues? Like, yeah, I bought that shit too. I pre-ordered that shit too. I'm like, damn, I cannot wait for that. You know, like everything is Demon Slayer for me right now. And
oh, I'm already having my wife print me a bunch of Nezuko shirts, man. Nezuko and Tanjiro shirts. Hell yeah.
Like, I got
this packet of freaking Demon Slayer stickers.
Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook. Yeah, like, dude, like Demon Slayer is the shit right now. I mean, I don't honestly like all this new stuff that's coming out. I don't even like by far the summer anime of 2019, Demon Slayer. That's all I can say. And like, you know, like I know on this podcast, me and Lee, we jumped around on from the anime and manga back and forth, but we're just talking about what we loved about everything so much. And
episode 19.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, if the listeners out there want us to like, if the listeners out there want a like podcast episodes where there's like a breakdown of arcs, we can work something out depending on just whatever on your schedule is. But I mean, I wanted to just get this all in one shot, you know, because that way we just talk about what we loved about the series,
yeah,
and talk about the manga too. Since you're one of the few that I know that read the manga. Yeah, but man, I'm so excited. Hopefully, chapter 176 gets released today, or later tonight. I know you were predicting that the Upper Moon one is not killed. Even though like the last panel is, you know, Shinzagawa hitting the ball and chain of the rock pillar and like finally cutting off his head.
Yeah.
But your theory was that
I don't think he's dead yet.
Yeah, and
you're not Upper Moon one just to die like that.
Yeah, and that's I'm really excited. Hopefully, but I do want the writers to like wrap up this fight because like this fight was a long ass fight too. Yeah. Like wrap it up because I'm gonna get to the next part. But yeah, man, like again, Demon Slayer, watch it for sure on any anime platforms you have, you know, Crunchyroll, Hulu. Watch it illegally if you have to.
It's a must watch.
And then when you get done with that, read the manga, man, because Facebook people are savages out there, man, posting spoilers left and right, posting panels everywhere.
Did you get my invitation to the Demon Slayer page?
Yeah, I declined it because I didn't want to like get notifications and see something that I didn't see. So I was like, I'll just wait. Yeah.
Oh no, those guys, they're not even as far as ahead as we are.
Oh, okay, shit, okay.
They're just a bunch of like nerds that want.
Is it just discussion theories and stuff?
Yeah, they discuss theories and they mostly put up wallpapers and ask for wallpapers. Like it got to the point where like there was 4 or 5 posts of wallpapers in a row. Like, oh, someone send me Shinobu wallpapers. Someone send me Tomioka wallpapers. And like every post I commented, Google that shit. But I love the page because of the memes though. They have a whole bunch of memes. Like a good meme was Shinobu was on Twitter and she's like my post and I'll give you a to be honest. I don't know if you saw that one yet or not.
I don't think so.
She's like my post and I'll send you a to be honest. She ats Tomioka anyway. To be honest, no one likes you. And he was like, I never liked your post. It's just like stupid shit like that. Or the one where Shinobu was singing Last Christmas I gave you, you know, Tomioka's first name. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you said you were gay. I love the memes on certain pages. That's what I follow. But when I see stupid shit where people like, really, you can't just Google a freaking wallpaper,
right?
It gets annoying.
Okay. Oh, and one more thing before we finally wrap things up here. My Hero comes out next month. Season 4. And
well, you know me. With My Hero, I love the anime. It's a good anime, but I'm probably gonna sit out on it until it's done.
Okay.
So I can binge watch it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Demon Slayer, like I work Saturday, so every time I get off work, I'm like, move, get out of the way. I gotta watch my Demon Slayer. But with My Hero, I just have this iffy feeling with it. Like, remember season 1 was pretty good, and season 2 was kind of meh.
Yeah.
And then 3 was like, oh my god. I'm just hoping season 4 is oh my god too, but you never know. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you this, or at least from my perspective.
Well, you read the manga, so you said it's gonna be fucking awesome.
I think it's gonna be by far one of the greatest things that you're gonna watch. Now, would it be as great as Demon Slayer? I don't know. Like this is where I kind of like draw the line because like animes that are running or that are already running versus premiered anime is different.
Yeah.
You know, because like if I was to say, like compare season 1 of Demon Slayer to, I don't know, season 1 of Attack on Titan, by far Demon Slayer is way better.
Yeah.
And then but you know, like hopefully throughout the later years when they run the entire anime series, and then that's when I'm going to start comparing the animes. Because for me right now, at least, my favorite anime is still Attack on Titan, but Demon Slayer is by far the best premiered anime for sure.
Right.
But yeah, man, this is pretty much towards the end. Hopefully you guys don't kill us for saying all of this shit about the
we're just joking. None of this shit happened.
the manga. No, but by far, man, like I really hope that to those who are listening, like, understand how great this series is, man. This is something that even my cousin like doesn't even like go crazy about. For him to get up and read the manga every week, that is saying something, you know. And I even got Andrew reading the manga, and he never read manga until like the last manga he read was Naruto, and he hasn't read any since. And for me, I love this series so much, and it's by far one of the greatest things that's been created.
It's the reason I live.
Yeah, it's like talking about like nerding out, dude. Like I nerd out for Demon Slayer. Like for even at Comic-Con, dude. I was like not the last one I went to, but Michigan Comic-Con in August. Everything I was looking for was Demon Slayer. I asked every artist there. I'm like, you guys got any Demon Slayer art? You guys got any Demon Slayer art? Or at least at Cincinnati Comic-Con. I mean, there were some booths that had it, but it's like not all of them were great. Because it was either like a printed poster of the series, or like when people do it themselves, it's or
it's not even an original. So
yeah. So, but I want people to jump on this train and hopefully
jump on a train because Rengoku dies on it.
Yeah, jump on that train too, man. Jump on the Infinity Train.
It's funny because like I have Gurenge on my playlist. So like every now and then at work, I'm just like, that song is just the shit. I'm so proud that she went platinum over there because of that song.
Yes. No, and
so congrats to her. She's a great anime singer.
Yeah, Lisa, like her music is her music's great. Like I bought some of her songs on iTunes, and like she's just a good singer overall. Like her music's very anime themed. Yeah, it's perfect for that stuff.
But she did Gurenge for Demon Slayer, and she's got another song for Sword Art.
Yeah. And she did another series. I forgot what it was. I don't know. It's drawing a brain fart because it's too much anime talk right now. I can't think of it.
Dude, I filled up my anime time so much in between Demon Slayer too. Like I finished Your Lie in April. That was a good anime.
Man, that's a emotionally like if you want to get hurt.
like I downloaded the soundtracks to it, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so good. And then me and my wife watched Shape of Your Voice.
Oh, is that the one? That's
the one with the deaf girl.
Yeah. The a silent, or the other title was like A Silent Voice.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I think.
I watched it.
It was pretty good.
I thought it was okay. I didn't like the ending. I like that I like that the main character, like, he broke out of his shell, but they were like, I guess at the time when that movie was released, they were comparing that with Your Name. Yeah. And Your Name by far is one of the...
Your Name is insanely good.
The best anime movie of all time. This is, at least for me. Fight me on this. Your Name is the best anime movie of all time. It is. Just the story, the artwork, the animation, how it ended.
Hey, fans of the podcast, after this podcast is done, I'm going to beat Ricky's ass. Because I'm going to fight him on this. No, man, it's Princess Mononoke, fool. Princess Mononoke's the best. That's the best anime movie ever. Fuck you.
No. And then next year they have Weathering with You, which is the same production and director from Your Name. So I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting for tickets to be selling for that next year.
Weathering with You, they have a cameo of the characters from Your Name.
Yeah, and I was pissed I saw that spoiler. I read that comment on YouTube, and I was like, fuck. I'm like, fuck.
I read that shit too when I was watching one of the music videos, the OSTs. I'm like, why? We don't live in Japan. Fuck you.
And I saw that, like, fuck, man. Now now Taki and Mitsuha is confirmed. I'm like, shit. But that, I think regardless, when I go watch that film, I'm gonna geek out when I see it. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. Any last words before we officially wrap up? I said this like 3 times already.
Yeah. Watch the anime, read the manga, or else we're just gonna keep spoiling it for you.
All right. So you heard that from Lee. Read your manga, watch your animes. Just a few last shout outs here as well. Again, next Friday I will be having Josh Taub from Blue View Cinema on my podcast. It's going to be a great one because if you love Tommy Wiseau and The Room, we're definitely talking about that. And in October 10th, I will have Yuri Yang, or also known as Zhonghu, on there as well. It will be a phone call interview, so that's gonna be my first phone call interview and my first female guest. So that's a great thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So she is a makeup and skincare entrepreneur. She has her own business, and she's also doing she does videos of like folklore stories, like Hmong folklore stories and stuff. And she's a very nice person. She was willing to jump on the podcast with me, so I'm excited for that. And I'm also going to have like a really different set of audiences listening to this, especially like the Hmong community wise. So that I'm very intimidated by that, you could say. And then October 18th, I believe it's Friday, I will have Van Brooks as well. He's the Facebook comedian, content creator, social advocate, athlete, half Hmong, half African American. One of the probably one of my best friends on Facebook, just on Facebook. The thing is, I've never met him in person, but we tag each other in memes and shit. So yeah, you're a good friend to me if you tag me in memes. So I'm excited to have him on there as well, and I feel like I relate to the guy a lot too, like on certain topics, and especially on anime too, and we're definitely gonna be talking about that. But yeah, those are the next big 3 episodes for next month in October. Then after I do up the episode with Van Brooks, I will be taking a 2-week hiatus. So hopefully I can try to end the year with 30 episodes overall after my hiatus as well. Oh, and also just again, this is a shout out to Baymong Productions because they let me use their music in my podcast. So follow them, like them, share their stuff, and also check out Indochina Gardens in Boyne City, Michigan. One of the best restaurants in the state of Michigan, and it's actually someone that both me and Lee know. So it's
who
it's our family member as well. Our aunt and our uncle up there, they own that restaurant. Again, their food isn't that typical Chinese shit, man. It's legit, like high quality Chinese food. Great atmosphere, great environment. So if you're in Boyne City in that area, check them out. So again, this is Spoiler Force Podcast episode 22. This is Ricky.
This is Lee.
And thank you for listening. Watch Demon Slayer.
See you soon, man.
If you enjoyed this episode, follow my Instagram at RickyVang92, RICKYVANG92, and follow Popluck Podcast on Facebook.com/PopluckPodcast.